Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio, he's my co-host, you know him, he's Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, good evening ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Welcome back and thank you for joining us for another exciting episode.
Oh yeah.
And it's a good one this week. We're joined in the studio by a guest.
We are.
He's a screenwriter, songwriter, director, plus much more, but he's here to talk to us about a book he's wrote.
Oh, yes.
It's a true story, by all accounts.
Yep.
It's called the Damu Chronicles, and it's about emails with a Sumerian God.
Yes, I know.
Well, you've been reading it, haven't you?
I have been reading it. I am actually going to give him a review after I've read it.
In its entirety.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone through the first part 3 times already.
It's interesting. I mean, well,
yeah,
Rocko will be joining us in the studio a bit later on to discuss his book.
He will.
Hopefully he'll give us a bit of info and a bit of, disclose some details.
Oh, yeah.
You'll find out a bit later on.
Yeah, definitely.
But before that, have you had an interesting week? What have you been up to, Mr. Taylor?
I've just been reading this book and just doing the odd.
Because I mean, this is it, isn't it? It's been nice weather, but
Well,
I mean,
and it hasn't the last end of it.
oh god, yeah, this morning absolutely chucking down cats and dogs. I mean, Rocko was good enough to, obviously get us a copy of his book.
Yes,
It's really good.
Yes.
So
I promised to give him a review.
definitely. We've had a pretty busy week as well, haven't we, with guests. So we've got quite a few guests coming up.
Oh, yeah,
so hopefully you're excited about that.
Yeah.
So this week we had an interesting guest in. So it's got me thinking about dreams a lot.
Yeah.
Trying to remember more of them.
It's a bit hard, isn't it?
Yeah, but hopefully in a couple of weeks' time we'll give you some tips on how to maybe sort that out for yourself.
Yeah, might be some answers.
Maybe help you remember them. It's a lot coming up in the show, so make sure you subscribe. Other than that, anything else you've been up to?
Nah, not really much. Yourself? What else have you been up to?
Oh, you know me about treasure.
Yeah,
right?
oh,
I'm
yeah.
like you're either watching stuff about gold mining, or treasure hunting.
Gonna have to get you a pickaxe or something.
Good metal detector. Yeah.
Nah, I think you'd be better with a pickaxe.
So obviously, love Oak Island, which was the season finale. Was a bit kind of disappointed because all the build-up was kind of leading me to believe that there was this 2-hour season
big
finale.
Investment at the end
it was
of
like
it.
45 minutes, and it was kind of just like a roundup. It wasn't that exciting.
A roundup.
Yeah, it was like, look at all the stuff we found.
Do you think they're milking it now? Do you think they're milking it?
Oh, they've always milked it.
I mean,
definitely always milked it. I'm not gonna, beat it around.
Yeah, but
that
do you think
bush.
they're getting a bit more on the milk? And have they actually found the episode 14 yet?
Well, they're probably a year behind us, aren't they? So, like, the series we're watching currently is filmed over last year.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we're at the start of a new year, and stuff will probably be going on right now, which we're not privy to yet.
Yeah,
Whether
true.
they've made discoveries off camera or anything like that is still yet to be seen, but there's a lot that can be done. And I mean, bearing in mind, it was COVID year last year, and they did do record numbers of finds and stuff. So like they found 3 times as much stuff as they normally would. Not
you reckon
treasure.
Separate out more?
Well, I think what they're thinking is, obviously we've talked about it and how the original story is set at a certain date. So, there was the original Money Pit discovery.
That's right.
And the story's always kind of gone, not very far beyond that, in terms of history. So
True.
Now it's turning out like there's been, excavations, there's been activity on the island going back hundreds and hundreds of years prior to that discovery of the Money Pit. So for all we know, there could be multiple burial sites of multiple artifacts from multiple sources, and none of them even knew of the other one.
Yeah,
well,
there's big chances. Yeah, but it's the big one that's the one
of course,
that they're really after.
But, which one's the big one? Who knows?
The one with the trap, isn't it? It's the one with the big trap underneath.
Interest, the money pit. But it's like obviously over the years it's gone missing, and it's trying to relocate it now.
Keeps moving like a bobcat.
We see what happens next year. Well, this is it. It does, because they'll go, oh, we've seen this down the hole, but he's gone. We've had this reading. Oh, it's gone. And that's the island, man. It just kind of it bugs me. But so besides that, I mean, obviously it was the finale of Oak Island, but it's got me into like all types of treasure and secret vaults and hidden rooms and stuff like that. You know, you can go down these rabbit holes on YouTube. Cracking safes is another one I've been getting into.
So you want to be a safe cracker now?
Potentially. But I found this really interesting story about the Padmanduashwari Temple. I think that's how you pronounce it. And that's got everything. It's got treasure vaults, mysterious goings on.
Was that the one with the doors?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, I think we will probably talk about this a bit more in depth in the show at some point. Yeah. But other than that, if you've not, Google it, because it's pretty interesting. So, that's been me this week. New merch is still available. Go and check it out. It links on the website as well as everywhere else.
It does.
And, that's it. We've got... so we've chain connections this week. Have you got some clues for us?
I have.
Cool, because everyone's a winner last week again.
You're all smart.
We just got inundated with messages saying giants, and I think we gave them massive clues with last week's episode. So, well done, everybody.
Yes, congratulations, you all smart asses.
This is it. You see, this is the thing as well, because when you kind of like getting people messaging and you're on multiple sources as well, I kind of go, oh, who was the first one? Oh, I can't be bothered.
Yeah, it's got to be all of you.
All of you.
You got it right.
Everyone's a winner. Yeah, if you got it right, exactly, you got it right. Yeah. But I believe you got some more clues for us this week. Now, chain connections, it can be, cryptic clues, throughout the show, or, all at once. So Taylor's going to give us those clues now.
I certainly am.
Do you know what he's going to be talking about? We'll soon find out.
If you want to be a smart ass, yeah.
Go on.
Right, well, the first one is we lose this thing, but it is protected.
We lose it, but it's protected. Okay.
We lose this daily, but it's protected.
Right.
Second one is...
I don't know the answer, by the way.
Yeah, you don't.
As well as you guys, so I'm trying to work this out as well.
You're trying to guess there.
Right.
You reckon you got it?
No, not at all.
Yeah. Good.
And this, no, because, you want to at least try and get it right. Come on, give us the next clue.
All right, well, the second one is there are rules to protect it. What have you got that you lose daily and it's protected?
I don't know off the top of my head. I can't think. Is it, it could be anything. My keys, no.
Well, I'll give you the
my
third
wallet,
one.
Money.
Well,
right, come on, give us a third clue anyway.
Third one
if you know, if people are screaming it out at me, go on.
This should give it away now. We don't have protection abroad. That might confuse you because you
health
might think
service. I don't know. Is that right? Health? Yeah, maybe. Health insurance.
I can't say. It's up to the smart asses to find out.
Well, if you think you know what he's talking about, could be right, could be wrong. Give us your logic behind those connections, and we could be shouting you out next week on the show. There's a couple of ways you can get in touch. You can email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. Or go on Twitter at NASA_never. And get in touch.
Yeah, be a smart ass.
And you could be getting a shout out next week on the show. We've got a little advert. It's people confusing, right? People are confused. I've just got to clear this up before we move on. Because, we do have these adverts. Yeah. Like this week's HelloFresh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fresh.
But that does not mean we are sponsored.
Yes,
right. We ain't making monies.
We ain't making nothing.
We don't make nothing, right?
Nope.
So, But we would if you followed the link, right?
Yes.
Now, if you follow the link, and join up with HelloFresh, which, let me just tell you, at the moment, they're giving you 50% off on your first box, and then 20% off your next free, right? Now, if that's not savings enough, you're getting fresh, pre-prepared ingredients, delicious recipes, all delivered to your door every week.
No.
You're saving pure money.
Yep.
Yeah. There's no commitment.
Yep.
And you get to choose what you want in the box. It's all prepared so that you don't waste anything. It just sends you exactly what you need.
Yeah. That's good for the environment, good for your money.
And like I say, we're not sponsored by HelloFresh.
No.
But if you choose to use them and think, do you know what? I like the lads.
Yeah.
I'll use their link. Yeah. That really helps us, right? Yeah.
That gives us a few pennies.
Couple of quid. You know what I mean? Not breaking the bank, but
And it doesn't come off you either. It comes off them.
Exactly. So help us out.
Yeah.
Go on, do that. Do that small thing. If you're not going to buy merch, then do that.
Yeah.
Right? Sweet.
At least you could do.
I'm a cheeky bastard. What are you going to do?
Oh, no, for all the work we've done,
Anyway,
and doing.
Well, this week's guest is a screenwriter, songwriter, director, and author, and is the author of many books, including a non-fiction travel novel, a children's book, and the true account of a series of emails that was believed to be sent from extraterrestrial entities. It's all documented in the Damu Chronicles, emails with a Sumerian God. Welcome to the show, Rocko Paolo.
Welcome.
Thank you, guys.
How are you doing?
Pretty good. It's snowing here, but
in sunny Montreal. Well, it's actually been really quite nice here in Manchester for a change. And we've had quite a week of just actually quite nice sun. I think it was like about getting close to 20 degrees the other day, which was
nice.
quite exciting considering I feel like I've been a hibernating bear for the last 6 months or whatever. But that's not what we're here. We're not here to talk about the weather. We're talking, of course, about your book. I found the whole concept fascinating. So do you want to fill us in? Do you want to give us a bit of an introduction?
Sure. So the Damu Chronicles, it's a book. It's the way it worked out is I had a friend that I used to work with in the office, and we, liked the same things, conspiracy theories, could have been, anything bizarre. So we got along very well, right? We always had these conversations. Then one day, like we were working at different parts of the company, and he came up to me one day and he said, "Hey, Rocko," and that was really funny, the email you sent me. And I'm like, "Email? What are you talking about?" He goes, "Come on, man." He goes, "It had to have been you." I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." Forward me the email. So he forwards me the email. I read the email, and it was quite fascinating. So I'm reading it and reading it. I went back to him and I said, "Buddy, I did not write this." I go, "It's really, really good." He's still laughing, saying, "Ha, ha, ha, whatever." It's like, "It's got to be you." Basically, the email was just addressed to him saying, "Stop it. Stop what you're saying. You're completely incorrect." And then start going into sort of like a rant saying that you know absolutely nothing about anything.
Okay.
And kind of like correcting him on a lot of things.
So what was your first suspicions on the origins? Obviously, your friend thought it was you.
Yeah.
And you were having a bit of a joke.
Private conversation. Obviously, did anyone overhear it and, decided to wind you up and stuff like this?
Exactly. So I was like, I found it was kind of weird, but at the same time, I really thought what the person was writing was interesting. So I said, "You know what? Respond to the email." He didn't want to respond to it. I said, "Respond to the email. Yeah. I want to hear more." I got to hear more of what this person has to say. So he responded to the email, and then that's how it started. So the emails started coming in. He would forward them to me. I would read them. And then I started printing the emails because there was quite a few coming through, and left them on my desk. Other people got to read them. People snooped around my desk, and And basically, everybody started looking at it and saying, "My God, what is this?" Right? Like it was really like they couldn't put it down. It was that interesting?
Right. Okay.
There was a lot of information in there that I had not heard of before. There was a lot of information in there that kind of went against what I was leaning towards, and so it was really interesting stuff. So I was really intrigued by the information.
So did it actually change your direction?
To a certain degree, not everything. I had some of the stuff is kind of hard coded in me. I am pretty open minded, but there was a few things where I'm like, that's very interesting. I said, there's a lot of stuff that's in there that's very matrix oriented.
Okay.
Right? Hologram.
So sort of a program universe, if you like, or some sort of simulation.
Exactly.
Okay, so, I mean, when you started reading these emails, I mean, you say that they were super interesting, nobody could put them down, but was there anything, at the start that, I mean, straight away you're thinking, right, this is a joke, somebody's playing a trick on us.
How did you respond?
Even if it was a trick, it sounds quite an elaborate, whoever's writing these emails is, quite creatively thinking if it is that, right? It's rather quite
look more into it.
Somebody's very clever or this is legit. So I mean, what was it? I mean, how many emails in was it before you started thinking there's something to this, or was it more the information included in the email that made you think it was something other than just a friend messing about?
I thought it would. Pretty much from the beginning, I started realizing it wasn't a friend messing about because, as you indicated, there was a lot of information in there. I had to reread portions of it over and over again to try and make sense of it. So it was very... And the thing that I liked, too, is as the emails continued, there was never any contradictions. There was never any situation where I found that, he said that before, now he's changing his mind, or he's going here, he's going there. That never happened. The information, he just kept on adding more to it. See, my friend was continuously emailing him and trying to get him to kind of like saying, "Oh, but you said this," and he replied saying, "I never did."
Yeah. So I mean, did you kind of probe this person as in to try and find out more information about them in particular, like who they were, why they were sending you these emails, and specifically why send them to your friend? I mean, I was saying this earlier to Taylor. I mean, I get a number of emails in the inbox, from Nigerian princes and this, that, and the other, and I usually just delete them.
You're a billionaire, you.
So exactly, yeah. But what was it that made you think? What stood out from the lot?
Respond?
I mean, in terms of like what we get via email these days is kind of like I say, you've got to be very careful what's legit, what's not. So. What stood out again from this email that made you think it wasn't just some sort of just nonsense junk email?
Just the way it was written and the information that was in the initial email. First of all, there were very long emails. They were not just basically like 5 words or a paragraph. It was basically, like a good 3 or 4 pages worth of information that was coming in at a time. And when I'm reading it, it's sort of like I can't stop reading. So I'm like, this person is really drawing me in as far as with the information. And as indicated, I'd left emails on my desk and other people had the exact same reaction. They just picked them up, started reading it, and couldn't put it down. And they kept on saying, I want to hear more. Like
and I take it all of these emails are in your book.
The majority of them are in there. Because the thing is, when this happened quite a few years ago.
Because I understand you've been sitting on this for 15 years.
Yes. At the beginning, I was afraid to come up with the book. It was still very fresh. And when it was there, I was still kind of just a little shaken. And not that it was anything negative, but it was just like, this is really deep stuff. Yeah. This is like, and I couldn't figure out how do I put this together. I wasn't a novelist at the time. And I was just kind of looking at it and I was just saying, do I put this out, or I just put out the emails and just leave it at that? Do I put out the emails and then have my interpretations of the emails?
Yeah.
Do I put it down as the actual story between myself and my colleague and what happened?
Yeah,
and that's the route I went with in the end.
The thing is, back in the, 15 years ago, Reddit and these sort of forums hadn't taken off so much, whereas it's quite a big investigational community. Whereas if you might have put them online, they would have been some sort of kind of big investigation into it in terms of many minds trying to solve it.
Yeah.
I mean, it reminds me of the John Titor case. If you've heard, it was a gent who claimed to be a time traveller who started messaging people on message boards and got into a dialogue with several people. But he couldn't be faulted. He never contradicted himself. He never, deviated from his story, if you like. And this is how it sounds from your perspective, pen pal, if you like.
Yeah.
So did you get a name? I mean, one thing that kind of made me think was the email address. Was it kind of Earth origin, or was it a kind of what provider were they with?
So yes, the email address was a regular email.
Right. Okay.
So what came out of it was that this entity was using taking over a person to transmit the message.
Okay.
So he found basically a person that he was able to inhabit to be able to transmit that information.
Right. Same person all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny that actually, because we were recently talking with a yogi who said that his spiritual guru was in kind of communications whilst in trances with these extraterrestrial entities, and they were delivering messages in a way, not basically, not into a sense where they were controlling him to type or use tools to try and get a message out, but it was a similar sort of way of communicating, I suppose. And it does seem to keep coming back to that, doesn't it? In how people say, "Oh, I was communicating with these higher beings, and it wasn't using any sort of technology. It was all through brain power and mind and energy." So yeah, I can buy that that this is how potentially this person was kind of communicating it over. But
did you actually get to meet this person?
No.
Because I was going to say, I'd try and track this person down, because I'd want to know if they were having an experience, or if they knew they were having an experience, or if it was just like, why have I got all these emails in me sent box?
I'd be looking into.
But when I say I did not meet this person, when you read the book, you will see there's something in there that kind of
explains why,
potentially reveals who it might be.
Okay.
It's a very, like I said, a whole strange situation that happened in that. But like you said, as far as like, there's even one communication where, it kept on saying like, well, who is this person? And, why is this person emailing us? And when we finally got the name, which would be Damu, that's when we finally kind of got the indication of who this entity was supposed to be. And Damu, like you said, this is like the early days of the internet. I couldn't find anything on Damu. Eventually I found something that indicated that it was like a vegetation god or something. And Damu did indicate that he was considered, like, in his group of gods, pretty much like a teenager. If he had to explain to us, and that some of the information he was giving to us would probably be disputed by some of the elders, as he would refer to, in there.
So he's quite an adolescent in terms of the gods, and I can appreciate that. Whereas you talk to an Earth teenager, they're probably a bit kind of still learning and not as wise as the elders. So that. Go on.
I was actually looking at the cast of gods. Actually, the how many there was, where they were, because they generally have a name to him as well. Like Inky was the god of the water, and then you got Sa, who was like a god of war plus deep water and stuff like that. But when I've been looking at the still, because there's different ways of seeing it, because you can see it through Babylonian, Sumerian, Estonian. You can see it, and they've got them in different locations, basically. So it is hard to break down, and a lot of the stories as well that there is no real ending. That when they find these carvings and that mostly the endings have like gone, so you can't tell the actual ending. The period between 2,000 years ago and now, and that kind of stuff. It's not there.
So there's no sort of kind of period of reign, if you like. But
so it's piecing it together and trying to find bits together.
Did he mention in the emails or Damu that he was a Sumerian god, or where did that come from? Where did you find that connection?
That's where he did come forward, because at one point I was questioning it, so I turned to my friend and I said, I go, some of the information he's giving, I go, it's kind of leaning in my mind towards, Sumerian, Egyptian, there's something in there. So even though those emails are not in the book, I do have the email where it does come out and says, I'm Damu, and you guys would refer to me as a Sumerian god. And that's where, like I said, I tried finding the information, and that really put chills up my spine when I was reading that, because at that point, like I said, the emails were probably like halfway through the majority of the emails, and they were, like I said, they were very deep. There was a lot of information that was being transmitted through the emails that were stuff that I hadn't heard before, stuff I was not familiar with. Like I can take, for example, this was back probably around early 2000s, 2003, I think it happened. And he had mentioned that the Greys, which are obviously the ones that are the most known, that it said that they were not aliens, they were just our future selves.
Right, okay.
And that at that time, I hadn't heard that. Now I hear that quite often. It's become, people are leaning towards that more so than before.
Well, it's funny.
In 2003,
I actually said that.
I didn't know that.
Well, I actually said that. In terms, and not physicality, but, I kind of find it interesting that whenever there's a big world event that, these UFO sort of activity in a similar way as kind of a history lesson, would it be out of the realms to say, as students from the future are able to travel back to witness these events happen firsthand, but not interfere, and just witness, totally. So they can get a better understanding of history, and it'd explain a lot to me and say, well, they're not aliens, they're us, and we've just been able to grasp a technology that is a bit magic to us at the moment, but will be explained later on, and we've all kind of seen time travel movies, and what's the first rule?
Like Doctor Who.
Do not mess with, do not interfere. Yeah. And, so the Greys being ourselves from the future, maybe the Grey, the look is a product of our environment later in the future. Yeah. Who knows? What the future brings in terms of our evolution. But what would you say in that respect? Would you say that you think that the Greys were? Would you agree with that sort of hypothesis?
It's not that I don't disagree with it. I can see it either way. Like I can see I can see that it could be entities from another planet, and I can also see it could be us from the future. There's that possibility. Will I ever find out which one is right?
Maybe
probably not.
Yeah.
But the fact is that when we look at any stories about the Greys, it's pretty much always similar stories, which is that they're infertile or they can't reproduce. They're trying to create hybrids. They're trying to keep existing, which is a very human survivor type mentality, right? They want to survive, so they're trying to figure out ways to stay alive.
Yeah, well, we're sort of doing the same thing to animals for a long time now. You know what I mean? Like,
of course,
dart an animal, test it out, see if it's okay. If it's okay, let it go. Give it a blood sample and stuff like that. Bye bye.
Yeah, but in the same respect, you know, well, what are we doing in terms of trying to keep populations going? So, you know, it's like even now, humanity is how many times have we seen news stories about scientists looking to bring a Jurassic Park style? You know, how long is it before we can, you know, keeping the pandas going or whatever?
They could let out a virus and that's the reaction for it.
You know, it is a natural response. But is that not just a natural response in any animal or any species to keep surviving? But unfortunately, most animals in the animal kingdom haven't got the capacity, the tools to do anything about it. Yeah, and they die off. But it's like, you know, if you're an intelligent being, then you're able to, you know,
lucky species.
Well, yeah, but I mean, how do we know that in the same respect that we've not been kind of kept alive by the elders or the alien entities?
I'm into this
in the same way we do for the animals on Earth.
I believe that quite a lot of that is truth to what you hear in the Bible or what you hear in any other kind of religion, because majority of what's in the other religions is in this anyway, and it gives actual identity of where these religions have come from, where these like law has come from, where did farming or this kind of stuff. It gives a real good indication of what's going on. And don't forget, it's gone through Sumerians, Babylonians, all over places, plus other places around the world. It's just not known as much around the world.
So, you know, you were saying about this Sumerian being a bit of an adolescent. How was he? I mean, what was it? How was he able to kind of, you know, break through and communicate? And why is it that none of the others do? Or do you think?
It's kind of explained in the book. Basically, there's energies, and the thing is that if, for example, what's mentioned in the book is that if the entire planet was to be totally negative towards, let's say, another species, that species will die just from the negativity.
Right.
So they try not to really get too close to us in that regard, because that's what is harmful to them is the negative energy.
I suppose, yeah, because I mean, for us, we can sense negativity. I think there was just something happening outside then. I don't know what that was. I do apologise. Sounded like there might have been an accident. Right. So anyway,
well, I found something
I think we can pick up on negativity, but you know, do you think that like you say there, do you think not just think we're a negative species anyway? You think like, you know, aliens wouldn't really want to interact too much? I do apologise, Taylor. I kind of got through off there.
Sorry. Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, as I was looking into the gods, and like with you saying it was a young god, then there's one that sounds the description roughly to one of he's not a god. He's supposed to be the first human that was actually Enki had made to be his slave, and actually let him go in the Garden of Eden, which apparently it wasn't 1-on-1. It was actually 14-on-14. So they had 14 females to 14 male, and I believe he was the first one who was made to actually do the bidding, as I've seen. That's the nearest one I've seen to it.
Well, I mean, in terms of like you were just saying there, Rocko was just saying there about the Greys being these kind of geneticists and, like trying to keep the species going. I mean, there's nothing really to say that Sumerians were doing the same thing, were there?
Well, there's a lot of like picture art and stuff on genetics and stuff, which is interesting. It's really interesting because they were ahead of time in a lot of things, like I was saying, like science, like knowing the stars. They did a lot of things, and it's just there's a lot of gaps in between. This is the problem.
So, Rocko, do you know the emails that you were sent? I mean, has anybody who's kind of like expert in the Sumerian culture or expert in kind of ufology or anything like that, have anybody else had a look at it where they've been able to say, there's a piece of information in this that is so far out and so, unknown that it has to be something else other than just your regular everyday Joe on the street? Do is there anything there that kind of was life altering enough for yourself that you've kind of changed your opinions on the whole matter?
Yes, because even if you're looking at the Sumerians or the Egyptians and stuff that we've kind of read on or know about through other people, the book kind of turns that all upside down. It's really like not anything that I've learned elsewhere. Like there's stuff in this book, like I said, when we were talking about the Matrix, but there's stuff in there that basically was completely new to me then, and the way that it's speaking about our origins, whether the origins of the universe, the origins of humans, the origins of these alien races. It really goes completely in a different direction than I was expecting.
Okay, so what was the goal in sending these emails? Was he trying to get a message out to us? Was it a warning, or something else? Was it just the adolescent prank calls of a teenager? Yeah,
because then you say the first one was you're getting it wrong. Stop talking about it.
Stop talking. You're completely wrong, and this type of
basically
thing.
Saying you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know everything that you've been saying is completely BS, and you don't know what you're saying. So when the emails started going back and forth, and he was doing a lot of correcting as far as what they believed is the truth. And which was aggravating my friend quite a bit. He was getting more angry, and that's when we started noticing that Damu, before he even indicated who he was indicating that my friend was draining him a lot, just by his negativity. And that's when we started realizing that this seemed to have like a lot bigger effect on the reptilians than previously that I knew. So he was just indicating that my friend was just really too negative, and therefore really and he was trying to help him.
So you got to have a positive outlook in life. That's the key.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say about the lizard thing, actually. How come you put the lizard eye as the front cover?
Because when I was a child, around the age of 4, I had an experience that happened. I was very religious, and it's in the book as well. I indicate that in the book. And my brothers and sisters, I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
Okay.
They would always talk about feeling like something just nudged them on the shoulder, but when they turned around, there was nothing there.
Yeah.
So at the age of 4, I got the little tap on the shoulder. Difference was that when I turned around, I got to see what was there. And what I saw was this slithery green wart, snake-like hand going into the ground with long nails. And like I said, I was very religious, so my only knowledge of the devil was red with a fork, and so I was completely confused because it wasn't the devil.
Well, he's depicted as the serpent.
Yeah, and I couldn't. Yeah, but I couldn't. It was a hand, right? It's just the way it slithered down. And so I'm saying to myself, like, what was that? Because I go, it couldn't have been a dream, because if it was a dream, it would have been red. So it confused me for many, many years. And for many years, I had difficulties sleeping with a foot exposed at the end of the bed or hand exposed at the end of a bed. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And when I met this friend at my work, that's when I first heard about reptilians. This was a few years before this whole book came out. And he mentioned the reptilians, and he showed me some images of what reptilian, and I shook in my pants, right? Because I was just like, oh my God, I finally know what it was. So that's why the image is pretty much on the front of the book. Whether or not that's what a Sumerian God looks like, no. But for me, it kind of
represents.
It conjured up those sort of images.
What I saw as a child, and what most likely, and what people, the snake, dragons, all these kind of things seem to be worldwide. Like every culture has either a dragon or some kind of snake.
Yeah. It's funny. I think
entity there. I
think what the argument is for that is that the reptilians were the original inhabitants of potentially. Do you know, like even sort of kind of even evolved from your dinosaur type era, I suppose. Really, is that right?
It's kind of funny actually, because do you actually know who the top Sumerian god was?
No, go for it.
It was actually a female lizard.
Was it?
It was supposed to be a female lizard, yeah, and then she got one of her wards to look after her, but then he kills her.
Potentially, the Sumerians have had influence on obviously the planet and the species for a lot longer than
165 years earlier, apparently, before this the Anunnaki stories were coming along, several thousand years later on. So there's plenty of time there for her, if this is true, to have actually lay down a lizard population and then lay across another civilization across the top, because there is lots of arguments about lizard people and subtle's and the stuff that we've been on about
subterranean civilizations. Yeah, I mean, like, again, it's one of those, though, because I think, like, humanity definitely wants to know where, we all want to know what it's all about, yeah, right? Regardless of whether it's got religious connotations or we're created by genetics, by another being, just the answers would be great.
Yeah,
now, I think a lot of ufologists have this sort of, or like people who are just interested, have this idea that we're not being allowed into the galactic community because, like you say, we're negative, we're warmongers, we're not nice. Yeah, right. Well, some of us are, but generally
Federation
speaking,
and I just don't count as nice.
Generally speaking, we're not.
We're still young.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
Are still young. We don't know how young we are, but we are young.
Well, maybe this is it. I mean, in terms of this guy or this, entity reaching out and trying to make contact, is that the youth reaching out to the youth, or is that trying to give us a warning or trying to explain to us where we do fit into the whole, galactic, cosmic, thing?
Yeah, but I think it's the leaders that are the ones who are trying to stop it all, even though it has...
Oh, we've lost Taylor. Hello?
Hello, you still there?
Oh, we're still there. We lost you there for a second. What was happening?
I don't know. I saw you freeze. I saw gas freeze, but I still hear Taylor. Yeah,
we're back. Yeah. It's all good. No worries. We didn't lose each other for that long. What was you saying there, Taylor?
I can't remember.
You were saying just basically how eventually they'll let us know. We just don't know when.
Yeah, it's a case of I think in some kind of realms we are special. There is something about us that doesn't exist anywhere else, or there is some underlying reason why they just haven't come down and gone, right, well, we'll take you for slaves or we'll take you for dinner. You know what I mean? There's something else there, not just the government. There's something underlining that's stopping them. And I think it's because we're too young, and we, like you were saying, we're still too young and stupid, and just don't.
I do think that we're like when people say, why don't they show themselves? Because I go back to the Frankenstein movie. We'll just go with pitchforks and we'll just Yeah. We're like you said, we're war people. Yeah. And if we don't like it, and even if, for example, you can take somebody who's super religious, loving the Bible. If Jesus came back, the first thing they would do is kill him again.
Oh yeah, I believe that if Jesus did come back, he's probably been locked up in a mental institution, because how many people go, I'm Jesus, or Napoleon. There's always one.
That turns around. What is he got? Is Jesus an alien along the route of he come down? He got, I don't know. Somehow he
was
got
persecuted.
Born, or he got captured there,
and that was it.
He had to go through a certain stage. I mean, because if you look at like the when the Earth stood still, if you look at that film, it's kind of good indications of what another species would probably look at us like, and what if they had the power to clean it up would do.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
testing. Bring one of your own, put them down there, and see what they're your counsel of what to be done with you, either save you or help you or destroy.
And then that's the test. And if I
think we've been tested in many ways.
Yeah, and that's why we've still not revealed. Well, have you had any other kind of, I mean, obviously you mentioned there you had this experience with the lizard slithering arm. I mean, had you or your friend, specifically your friend, had he had any encounters previous with UFOs or aliens or anything paranormal? Because I find it strange that they reached out to him specifically.
He did have an experience, and even if you look in the book indicates that we've met before, is what's indicated in the book to my friend. And he also, the entity also mentions myself, saying that, that he knows me and that I know him. So so he did have, my friend did have an experience in the 70s with a UFO that he didn't really go into deep details about, but you could see that it kind of shakes him up when he would talk about it.
Do you believe if you've had an encounter as in an abductee?
I've always been afraid to get hypnotized.
Really, yeah. just in case you find out. Yeah.
There's moments where I can say, possibly.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to know.
Yeah. I think one of the things is that apparently one of the agreements was when they take us, we weren't to remember anything when they bring us back. But there seems to be an indication of they're taking more people and they're not doing the job on like bringing them back. People can actually remember certain things
these days, can you? I think like when you were saying earlier about kind of like how long it took you to release the book or kind of do anything with the book and the information. I think like, 15, 20 years ago, I think it was a bit more taboo in a lot of ways as well. You kind of, it's one of them whereas you start kind of saying, I was abducted by a UFO or I'm getting emails from a Sumerian God. Then people look at you a bit strange or say, could this affect my career? Could it affect my relationships? People were a bit more kind of closely guarded with those types of stories. Even if it was a legit experience they had, they'd be a bit more thinking.
Today,
so,
I mean, just the fact that it's called, emails from a Sumerian God, people are like, emails, what's the Sumerian's IP address, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, but yet people are, if you look at the Bible, you have talking serpents, you have talking donkeys,
burning bushes that talk, all sorts of.
People go to a desert and there's a lion that talks to them or whatever. Like,
birds.
You're going to get a message, or sometimes you just get a message, like you said, telepathically. So there's different ways to communicate. And in the end of the book, where there's actually a moment where something I had asked, I need proof.
Yeah. I'd be the same.
Seemed to have angered. Like the feeling I got was more of a like, how dare you, make that kind of request? But they did allow me to have a glimpse, and that for me was a very moving experience.
Can you explain how that felt? What was involved in that?
What they explained was that the easiest way we can explain to you what the way human beings are and why they're important is that we're similar to, like, for example, telephone wireless towers. There's certain information that can be transferred from one human being to another human being and to another entity and to another world and we don't know that we harness that kind of power. So they allowed me to have that feeling, to actually know that feeling of when that information is being transferred. And the only way I could describe it is it might have lasted half a second, but it felt longer. And it was where all my senses were completely kind of like mixed. Like basically, I could smell color. I could, everything was mixed. And so for like a split second, I was just like, it was like, this is the most beautiful sensation I've ever felt. Like, 'cause everything was like all over the place.
I think people do have, in some sort of form or another, in tuned with these sort of feelings. I don't know if they realise what they're doing, but there's some people who can see auras. There's some people who have synesthesia, where they can see colours and see music. They can, totally. So it's exactly what you were explaining there, but also, out of body experiences. You've got kind of what's the other one where you when you can astral plane
on there,
and I think all these things are kind of connected in the sense that it's a sensory experience or a sensory feeling that you can't explain. You can't, doctors can kind of put it down to, it's a medical condition, but we don't know why. But generally speaking, I think if we were able to harness these sort of feelings and powers, if you like, then, is this the next stage? It could just be the next stage in evolution in terms of being able to, communicate on another level. And it goes back to what we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks there, Taylor, in terms of like, how
not ready for it.
How we, when we dream or when we, like I say, when we have these sort of visions or, like you were saying about having a dream where you kind of felt like you didn't know it, or that experience when you thought I don't know if this is real or not. Yeah, but it's how your brain operates. It can make things so real that you can't tell the distinction between one or the other. And again, when it comes back down to the Matrix and the sort of like, are we living in a computer program or is this the creation of some other entity that is beaming? And if we are, like you say, these lightning conductors or, telegraph poles where we can receive this information, then what's to say that what we perceive and how we see everything isn't just a result of these transmissions being beamed into our heads, and technically,
if you were to take somebody, 200 years ago, bring him here today and show him that, we're having a conversation live, across, 2 continents.
Yep.
In real time, it'll blow it. There's that. And then you put, a virtual reality thing over his head. And then he sees, whatever his mother or somebody else, or he's on a different planet. And
you're a god to them, then.
Exactly. So
exactly, yeah. It's a case of how we communicate and how they communicate, and to them, that could be the standard, beaming in or, taking, possession of somebody else to get messages over. It could be the normal thing, whereas we see it as, like you say, something supernatural or, out of this world.
Because basically, when he was indicating, like, for example, a negative energy, so if they were to beam down or whatever they do to, like, the front lawn of Washington, D.C., they would probably not die from gunshots. They would die just from the negativity around them. There would be too much of it. So that's why they wouldn't do it. So that's one of the main reasons they say we will not make that appearance, because, the negative energy that you guys are able to produce that you guys don't know how to control would kill us.
So do you think was that kind of something that they put across in the emails in terms of how we need to be as a race going forward? Do we need, is it a case of that if the negative energy is doing so much damage, what's the positive energy capable of?
A whole lot more.
Are they comfortable with our positive energies, or is it just as, obviously negativity is a big issue. Like you say, even if you're an empathetic person, you can feel someone's negativity or emotions, I think, and that's just on a human level. And if these guys are so in tuned with this that it can actually harm them, then you got to think that our positive energy's got to do something, it's got to be kind of a positive influence, surely.
For sure.
So that's
the thing. Like, if you're in a room and there's just negative energy, my shoulders get really heavy.
Oh,
and I walk out of that room and I'm just like, I can't breathe. So can you imagine if that's actually something that if you're in a room with positive people, your shoulders
you relax.
And we just don't know it. We don't know the power of these energies that we have.
So, true. And like you say, we don't know the power of our negative energies. But, we do kind of know the power of positive. And, I think it is something that we all need to do, but it's just getting the whole world to do it and keep positive is a big ask. So, especially at the moment. True. But,
have you ever received any, let's say, visitors from governmental agencies or other agencies like MIB and stuff like that? Have you ever received anything?
Anybody interested to
anyone knocking the door?
Anybody interested to see the documents and stuff?
No, there's been no indication of that. Luckily or happily, or not to my knowledge.
I'd just be like, there you go, sir. hand it over. Here's a copy of the book. So,
do you want me to sign it?
Well, I think that, your friend, how does he feel about the whole book and, how it's, you've got it out there? Is he kind of pleased? Does he want to kind of keep out of it? Or is he kind of happy to, to talk about it if people ask?
I have not spoken to him in the last couple of years. We went our separate ways, but during the whole time that this was happening, as well as many of the years to follow, I had constantly brought up the fact that I was planning to put it as a book. He had no issues with that. He didn't want, obviously, to be laughed at, right?
Yeah,
like the majority of us were basically, it's like, like even myself right now, it's like, oh, you're going to do a podcast on this book? Really? This is, I'm like, yeah. And I go, everything in this book is true. So I would pass the polygraph test without an issue. So it's an actual life experience. It's the life experience that I had, and other people around me all experienced it. Everything that in this book, somebody wants to test me on it, go for it.
Well, and I haven't heard it before anywhere else, so you've got a special one there as well.
I was going to say, obviously some people, might say, since you are an author and a creative type of person, that, it could be a work of fiction told as a true story. What would you say to those people?
I would say I've got a really vivid imagination, because the stuff, like I said, in there goes, people know me over the years. They kind of have an idea of what my belief system is. I know I grew up religious. I started looking more into UFOs. But everything in that book is nothing that I would basically I've come up with.
It's too far out.
I would have probably contradicted myself a few times or changed the story or made a mistake. There's none of that in the book.
This is the thing, isn't it? It's like, I think if you, as an author, you'd be like, where can I put the twist, or where can I, like, to try and put a bit of showmanship into it. I think when it's text that's, confusing enough that you have to go through it twice to try and make head and tail of it, is one thing. I think when it's, I assume that there's some sort of science in there in terms of the galaxies and where, like you were saying earlier on, about where we belong in the universe, or was it more, more trying to set the record straight and say, you just don't understand. This is the way it is.
Yeah, we totally got it wrong, and everything we've learned about the Sumerians and stuff like that have gone, actually, this is absolutely all horseshit. It's actually, the story's told this way because we all know the winners tell the story, the losers walk away.
Well, it's basically you have a good point there, and the book pretty much, like I said, turns everything upside down. So that's why even like when I was reading the text and reading over and over again, trying to make sense of it, there are times when the source would say that you'll never understand it. You'll never fully understand. Yeah. What I'm feeding you is like little bits, but you're not there. It's I guess like trying to teach a dog physics or something, right? It's just like it'll never happen.
Yeah. I'm still too young to grasp.
Was there anything?
But because there's also that whole thing of the, time is an illusion, which is in the book as well, right? It's about the fact that time doesn't exist, and we have a difficult time.
Oh, I know.
Just trying to understand. For example, when somebody says, "Well, God was always there," let's say, for example, somebody says to you, and then you're just trying to figure out, okay, yeah, but when was his beginning?
Yeah,
I know.
We can't even put. It's hard to imagine a circle.
God made us, who made God, and then who? Say, I always put it like, who's God's dad, like, and who's God's dad's dad, like,
because we can't comprehend stuff like that. We can't comprehend that. Like, I mean, even science indicates that time only started after the Big Bang. Before that, time didn't even exist.
Well, so time's a human Earth construct.
Yeah.
I mean, time once you leave Earth means nothing, like, because it's only relative to how fast our planet spins. So, I mean, and
it's never going to be
how
perfectly
can you
anyway.
quantify or measure time anywhere else in the galaxy? 1 second is an infinite amount of time, so it's you cannot win with that one. You can't quantify it. So
1 second away from finding out, but there's a thing called
but what's 1 second?
Wood second or something. No, like over the last 50 years, like I think it's called Wood second or something. It's like a little piece of a millisecond, and they've had to go through all that kind of time and data through that little bit to get to literally 1 millisecond to the actual Big Bang to find out the theory. So we're getting close to it, but I think we're going to end up, which they're starting to find out, they're hitting problems to get even further to get into it, if you know what I mean.
Well, that's the thing, though, because once you hit the bang and you've got that ignition point, it's what happened before it, and that's always going to be the question.
We see something colliding together. If we haven't, then it comes out of nowhere. How does this work? And then, there's a new force on the way anyway, so things are going to be messed up.
The new force on the block. So, Rocko, is there anything else that you would like to add to the story before we end the show?
No, I mean, it's like I said, it's just, for me, it was just a very personal experience, but at the same time, people that have read the emails or looked at the book have all indicated that, there's stuff in there that it's kind of like completely outside of what they would have thought. It's something new, and we're talking about this was 15 years ago too, so it's still, there's stuff in there that hasn't been brought to light today, like I said, with the grades being, humans, that's something that since then has been becoming more the forefront. Mm-hmm. Maybe some other stuff in the book will, and as more stuff comes out, at least I'll say, hey, maybe there was some truth to this.
Yeah,
in the end.
Yeah. Well, Nostradamus, it helped him.
Well, this is it, isn't it? I mean, what we had a guest on and recently, and he basically brought up a book that was just a seemingly normal book, and then years later they found a cipher in it or some sort of code. You know, so generally speaking, you never know. They could be a nugget of information in that text that blows your mind. Or answers a question to an age-old question. You never know. Where can people get your book?
It's available pretty much at Amazon's probably the best place to find it.
We'll leave a link in the description on this week's episode so you know where to get it. And obviously, what's your next project? Are you doing anything at the moment?
I actually started the podcast.
Oh, right. Brilliant. Right. Plug your podcast. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, it's called Binge or Cringe Tunes, where myself and somebody that I've worked with over the years will review original songs by independent artists. Right. And one on the artistic side, that'll be myself, and he will be reviewing it on the technical merits so that they can know if their sound they're using the right production values for their tracks before putting them out there.
Cool.
That sounds good.
And where can people find you on all podcast platforms? I should imagine.
We just released the first one today, but there will be every Friday starting on April 30th. We're only doing one song, so per podcast or less than 10 minutes each, we play the song and then we indicate, what we liked about it, and he will indicate based on the spectrums of his software programs whether or not it meets the criteria for it to be put out for the masses.
Right, brilliant. And what's your podcast called again? Just so people at home
Binge or Cringe Tunes.
Binge or Cringe Tunes. Get subscribing. Make sure you do. Well, thank you so much, Rocko, for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. Hopefully we'll see you again. And you've been it's been mind-blowing. I can't wait to read your book. I'm sure everyone else is going to go rushing out and getting that, which is available on Amazon. We'll stick a link in the description, so make sure you pick it up and find out all about it. So, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Well, thank you, Rocko, for joining us again. You know what? It was an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Really interesting stuff. Wish you'd elaborate a little bit more on some of the email stuff, because I'm fascinated. But you know what to do if you do want to find out. Yeah. Go and buy the book. There'll be a link in the description.
Yeah.
And we've been reading it.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Taylor?
Well, I've read it like 3 times. At the beginning, I haven't really gone all the way through yet. Because I wanted to make
the emails specifically are pretty kind of out there, aren't they?
Yeah, but you know what? I can see where the emails are coming from as well. I can see it's a new aspect of how to look at how we actually as humans got it. It does look at different. It's kind of
a bit mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is. But like I said, I had to.
You had to reread reread it to kind of.
But it's definitely worth it. Yeah, I'm not really that much of a reader.
One thing that I kind of thought was when he was talking about how he met his mate.
Yeah,
and I thought that's us.
Yeah, that's like what
you end up kind of waffling on about kind of aliens and UFOs over tea break. Or whatever,
well, everyone around us is going, "Oh, you weirdo," and it's like, "What we're asking
Mulder
the question."
And Scully.
Yeah, you're Scully.
It's pretty hot. Thanks.
Well, yeah, okay then. All right, go with that. Yeah.
Anyway, right, so I just started thinking about...
putting up lipstick and stuff.
I just started thinking about Scully, sorry.
She's a beaut.
What was she called? Gillian Anderson.
Gillian Anderson, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
FHM's Most Sexiest Woman, 1998.
Was it 98? Yeah,
Something
about
like
98,
that.
99,
I don't know.
Yeah, I remember it, yeah. Yeah, her in a uniform, looking back at you.
Right, we're getting off topic.
We are.
I
thought it was a very interesting book. I would definitely recommend people on reading it. And to be honest, I can't wait to get to the end.
It's available on Amazon. Like I say, link in the description. Pick up your copy and
It's not that much.
Give it a good read.
And it is a good read. It really is a good read.
But as always, we've scoured the news, and here it is.
Yeah.
It's the news. The newsy news.
News. Oh, we have got news.
Oh, yeah, because this is the thing, you see. There's always something going on in this fucking crazy globe of a planet that we live on. And, today's no different.
Nope.
So, anything you want to kick us off with?
I'll kick off with a kind of shocker, actually.
Shock me.
Yes. Okay, then. Here we go. A mother in Hawaii. Took her daughter to the beach.
Okay.
Was filming her in the sea, just in a little bit of the shallow end, until she spotted a shark.
I was going to say,
do
you know what? As soon as you said it,
Yeah.
I knew she was going to say shark. Do you know in Australia they're having problems with sharks?
Yeah. Oh,
Closing beaches and stuff.
Yeah, well, they're moving. The small ones are moving around Hawaii at the minute, and that was where they reckon why it bumped into the shallow end.
So why is it that they kind of chill in the shallow waters?
Well, we
were talking
funny, actually. Determining
was
actually
talking
coming
to
into sea.
Somebody who fishes a lot recently,
Yeah.
and I was saying how come sharks end up in bays, with boats,
Yeah,
like harbours.
Yeah.
And it's just because they chase other fishing, and they end up being there because basically fishermen throw in the bait or the feed into the water to try and attract fish.
Yeah,
fishable
chum.
fish. Yeah,
Chum.
well, not chum, but they're classed as bait fish to the sharks.
That's right.
So because all these schools of fish are being attracted to the food, then obviously the food's
but
for
that
the
should be
sharks are
further
those
out.
fish.
That should be
So
further
they're
out to sea,
coming
though.
into more into land, but I couldn't say that the reason why sharks are coming inland is because of fishermen.
I'd say there's more to do with maybe sonar issues. The amount of times that,
Could there be something? Maybe a
moving migration as well.
Bigger threat out at sea.
Yeah, and don't forget the sea is changing as well as the environment on top of on land. You've got the environments that change in the sea as well. I mean the
as well.
The global warming kind of
waters.
Yeah. And it seems that sharks that are in tropical waters are coming to sea waters now.
Okay.
At the minute, it seems that there seems to be a kind of forced change because of how the sea's moving at the moment and all the messing around with supposed Mother Nature. That I think that's got quite a bit to do with it as well.
Right.
And don't forget, we are
just
looking
watch
more in the
out
sea.
if you're going swimming, is what I'd suggest.
Well, if we're
I'm not a big
looking
fan.
more in the sea, like we're saying, we're looking more in the sea now than we have before. Yeah, but there's more likely that they're going to be making more noise. There's more likely they're going to be damaging where they are at, which may disturb fish in that area.
Right.
As well. So you got loads of things you could put it down to, I'd say. But she was a lucky girl.
Did you hear about this guru? We've been talking about gurus a lot recently.
We spoke to one, yeah.
This guy, I don't know what his issue was or whatever, but he basically went viral for spraying insecticide into his mouth.
What the?
Yeah, I don't know if it was in protest of something, but he's from Indonesia, and he reportedly sprayed Baygon insecticide into his mouth on a video that later went viral. Yeah. He's died. I'm not surprised.
No shit, Sherlock. I'm not surprised if you're spraying poison in your fucking...
he died on May the 2nd.
Right.
He was a spiritual guru, apparently. I don't understand why you'd
went
do
a bit
that.
too far.
Some sort of protest against something, I'm sure. But
do you reckon he deserves an award?
Well, no, he kind of makes me remember the monk who, who's made famous. Obviously, he was on the front cover of the Rage Against the Machine album.
Oh yeah.
But he was a monk who set himself on fire in protest.
That's right.
And it's an extreme method, but it definitely.
But was he protesting against?
Well, in this case, I don't know, but
is he just? Is it kind of like don't be afraid of all these.
Well, maybe that's the point. Insecticides. I mean,
well, he failed big
obviously
time there, didn't he?
Well, no, thinking about it, if he's kind of a spiritual guy. I mean, I'm not saying this is what it is, but we're putting this stuff in our food, and
That's
he's
true.
proven the point. It's deadly.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Who knows? I mean, that's just kind of a guess, really. But
yeah, well, don't be doing this at home, boys and girls, because
don't do that.
You know what it turns out.
And don't
to be.
do this either. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Right. Well.
Oh, wow.
Just, do you know when I've seen this happen so many times, right?
Okay.
I don't have kids, yeah, so I've not had to worry about this. It's never been a problem for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you know, in-game purchases is a big one, right? So your kids are playing Fortnite or whatever, fucking Minecraft.
Yeah.
And they end up buying shit tons of fucking stuff in game, and it comes out on the parents' credit card or whatever.
Yeah. There's plenty of that.
Buying things on Amazon, is another one. So this is a story of a 4-year-old boy who actually bought 918 SpongeBob ice lollies.
What?
Yeah, on Amazon, costing $2,600.
Oh my god!
So
you don't need a hacker. All you need is a 4-year-old boy.
What?
A hack into your credit
Yeah,
card?
and Amazon told her that they wouldn't even take the lollies back. Yeah, do you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, the
at
lollies.
first. Well, yeah, of course, the perishables in it.
Yeah,
but I mean, is it the company's responsibility to refund these refunds? Do you know? Obviously, if you buy shit tons of credits in a game, or you buy something. I read another one where there was a kid who bought like a huge fucking teddy bear on Amazon, and it was like fucking massive, but like the kid loved it when it arrived, and it was like, you couldn't take it off it, but like, it was...
Well, you can have the kid as well,
an accidental purchase by a child, and it's like, well, but everyone goes to the vendor, right, and kicks off and says, oh, that's, my child's accidentally or purchased this and want a refund, which is fair enough, because I'd be the same. I'd be like, well, I need that money back.
Yeah,
right. But it's like, is it not more your responsibility to kind of make sure that you've got like locks on these things?
Yeah, that's 1. 2, the security on your laptop
on your devices.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
3, how's it getting your password? 4, well, there's got to be a lot more than 4.
Well, apparently, they did kind of sort it out and kind of refund her.
Don't
but
forget,
she did get 51 cases of SpongeBob ice lollies.
Some people would do it and blame the kid.
What, just buy it and then
blame
buy
it, blame the kid. Take the lollies back. No, you can keep them. There you go. Like, sweet as a nut. Yep. You've just got yourself 918
Well, they're not going to keep
lollies.
the lollies. I'm assuming that they would have had to return them.
Yeah, you're assuming that.
There's $2.5 grand's worth of
that's nothing.
Stuff.
Yeah, they could. Well, that's their tax bill that you should have been paying. There you go. There you are for the lollies. There you are, the tax bill for it.
Well, like I say, they said they wouldn't take the lollies back at first, but
there you go.
But they did relent, I think.
Hopefully. I think.
The thing is, it's like,
but do we need more security now?
Well, this is what they'll get at. That they'll try and implement more security measures, but I think that should be the case. As in, like, but how are they going to do that? Put a big button on saying, "Are you a kid?"
Well, no, it'd be member password there, or I'm going to ring your mobile and give you this number, and you put that in, and then you can...
Yeah.
But then,
they do them now, don't they?
Well, yeah.
Like OTP.
That's only going to last again for so long, and then something else a kid's going to get hold of the phone and go on in, I'm going to ring. Yeah, what, £1,000?
They're definitely not stupid, these kids.
Yeah.
They know the system better.
Or they're getting taught the system.
Yeah,
I'm either getting taught the system.
That kid was buzzing.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did he?
He's probably seen it on YouTube or something.
How the hell? I mean, when you're buying anything on Amazon, you've still got to put in a quantity. So he's definitely gone.
Across.
Yeah. Do you know what? Right. He's rather put in, I want 51 cases or 918 lollies.
Yeah.
How many's enough?
Nah, there's not enough. I've got to think of next week.
I think 1,000 might be pushing it. Right.
Yeah,
Anyway,
let's just lower it a little bit.
So
you won't notice.
You've got a story about cryptocurrency, haven't you? Because I've got one, but
yes.
I'll let you crack on. Because
okay, well, I've been looking into crypto.
I have a little bit,
yeah.
but like I say, I don't see the point in it.
Well, neither, by the sounds of things, neither does the Bank of England.
Yeah, I agree with him. But the Bank of England would say that because at the end of the day, they've got a business of coins. Yeah, coins and notes, currency, right?
Yeah.
So
notes.
So that's like somebody coming in and stepping on their patch. You know what I mean?
True.
Dipping their toe in their pond, if you like.
True. It's like NatWest told the staff, if you want to have bitcoins and that, you're gone.
Serious?
Yeah, seriously. No one is allowed to use the bitcoins and that.
That's mafia tactics.
Well, it's dirty. It's a bank manager, isn't it?
Well,
one of the most dirtiest persons.
Well, that's what I'm
around.
saying, because it's literally that's their racket, and you know they've been in that game since banking existed. Banks, yeah, and other companies coming in. Now the danger, you see, this is what I was saying to you about crypto. Yeah, it's like as it stands, it's not a currency; it's a commodity. Yeah,
that's true.
In a lot of ways, because you can't spend it. And the only way to spend it is by really converting it back into real money. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
but it's a valuation.
Really,
it's like basically use it like gold or silver.
Yeah,
if you were in shares.
But gold and silver is a physical thing. Yeah, right. Cryptocurrencies, can be you lose your password and you're fucked for one, right?
Oh yeah, plenty of.
You get a corrupt hard drive,
millions.
you're fucked.
Yeah,
right for two.
Yeah.
Then
it's
they're
true,
only
but
they're only a company, right? Now, like I mentioned earlier, if you're a bank and you're in the business of money, and another company comes in that's smaller than you by a long way, then all you do is you buy it out and you close it down, and that's probably what's going to end up happening to all these cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, but
and a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money.
Yeah, but the problem is on this, I think he's wrong. And
I could be wrong, totally wrong. Do you know? But
over since January this year, American dollar is 25% of the whole amount of money that they've printed have been in this last year. That's a lot of money. Now that weakens the note even more.
Okay.
So you've got a load of banks printing a load of money and they need to try and cash it back.
Yeah, but at the moment, it's like kind of the illusion of the amount of money that's been thrown about the last 2 years now.
Yeah, but then you've got a look at businesses. Big businesses now are starting to buy into bitcoins and other cryptocurrencies. You've got people like the people you watch, like Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is sold
because he's a
all
hype.
his bank shares.
I think this just because he's a hype. I mean, obviously,
and he doesn't sell though. He's one of these that he's a buyer and he doesn't sell.
Maybe. I mean, I don't claim to know enough about the stock market to kind of to be able to have an argument about it or a discussion. But one person. So what, you think it's going to collapse?
Oh no! All indications show that it's going to collapse.
What, the crypto market or the stock market?
Not the stock market.
See what happens, eh?
Well, yeah, and if it does, it's a real bad thing.
Well, it wouldn't. Do you know what? Nothing surprises me these days.
Individual things, the prices are going up at the moment, and there's no kind of slowing it down. And there's too much weak money out there, and a lot, and like you've even got the IMF. The International Monetary Fund that are making a crypto currency.
Everyone's got a cryptocurrency.
So's the US. There is going to be a point where
they're saturating the market.
They are saturating the market.
And your cryptocurrency, do you know what? Do you know, like those commemorative coins you get? Or when you go to the arcade and they give you like amusement tokens.
Yeah.
Like for skee ball or for the fucking claw machine or whatever. That's what they're worth. Yeah. Now, Elon Musk's got a coin, hasn't he?
He has, and he went up with Bitcoin this week.
Is it Doggy Coin or Dodgy Coin? Or
Doggy Coin.
Doggy Coin. Elon Musk, or the Techno King, he's got his coin, right?
Yes.
But another person who's launched a coin is the Tiger King's Carol Baskin.
Oh my days.
She's basically saying that she's trying to rival Elon Musk's Doggy Coin with her own cat coin.
Rival? Oh my God! Here are you in the dark.
So she's launched the cat currency apparently on Thursday,
Don't buy.
Um,
That is definitely a currency I would say do buy.
What?
But then again, someone actually did one for a joke, and it actually made him a lot of money.
it's like I was saying, Disneyland's like Disneyland.
A bit
Disneyland.
loud, that.
I know, exactly. I get excited.
Yeah.
It was the thought of Disneyland. I was like, Disneyland.
Mickey Mouse won it.
Disneyland has got their own currency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if companies outside of Disneyland decide
Wally
they can use that,
World's
then
got his own currency.
it would create outside, and
Now-
it would actually make a market.
I hold more stock in those Christmas vouchers you get.
Oh
'Cause
well,
at least you could go down to Argos
yeah, but the value on it will stay the same.
and get change.
That's the
No, you
problem.
don't get change on them.
No,
That's
no,
right.
you
That's
don't.
a fucking
No.
yeah. There
Yeah.
you go.
There's a lot of that.
A lot of cryptocurrencies. Which one would you get? I told you about mine, didn't I?
I did.
It's not a cryptocurrency. It's called Fizzcoin.
Fizzcoin, yeah.
Fizzcoin, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's an actual coin, which is physical.
Yeah. There's only one.
There's one in existence at
Yeah.
the moment.
And how much is it worth at
It's
the
a
moment?
prototype.
So it's worth the top rank then. At
It's
the minute.
it's everything.
What, billions, trillions.
Put everything in it. Blood,
Everything
blood
in
sweat,
it.
and tears.
Oh, I hope it's full
Yeah.
of gold.
It's got a picture of me on it.
Got a picture of it? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want it.
Oh
now,
no,
then.
it's not made of gold. But what coins are it anyway?
Well, yeah,
Anyway,
true.
right. So moving on.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to discuss? We're just waffling. The colossal frog's been found.
The colossal frog.
Yeah, the size of a human infant.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's massive, and it's been found hiding in a village.
It's been hiding in a village. What, disguised as a dog?
Check it.
Boy,
Fucking
that's
couch.
boy. He's
Right.
got some nuts on him.
So Jimmy Hugo, a villager, said that it was a giant. It was the most giant frog he's ever seen. Yeah.
A bit of grammar there.
I know. That's what it says.
Yeah, I'm just saying he needs.
I'm reading it as
yeah.
is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So he
And they
was
have a word
caught
in the
after
village.
roaming in the area
Yeah.
of the small village.
Right.
Jimmy Hugo, 35, was hunting wild pig at the time on the outskirts
Oh. Okay.
of Solomon, Solomon Islands,
Oh, nice.
which is the capital.
Yeah.
When he came across the beast.
The beast from the woods.
Yeah, so it's supposedly 1 kilogram in weight.
Whoa, that's
It's a
big.
big boy,
That's a
big
frog.
frog,
Yeah.
giant frog's been. So there you go. I don't know if it's a new species or considered.
Well,
Quite interesting though.
Might be.
I love
or
it when
just
these
might be
things
greedy.
happen. I did actually see something about something about giants again the other day, and do
okay.
you know what? I've totally forgot what it was, but it was a really interesting fact.
Quite a
and
lot
I
about
thought,
giants at the moment.
oh, do you know what? I wish I'd found that out last week.
yeah. I hate that when that happens. It's like, oh, where were you last week? Could have done
So-
with that.
Have you got anything else? Because I've got another animal one here, animal-related science news.
Go on in.
So, did you... Right. I think some of these scientists have pissing about. Yeah.
A lot of them do.
This is a report about scientists who have apparently taught bees to smell coronavirus.
Oh, my
Um,
days. What?
And
what
they can
next?
identify a case in seconds, apparently.
And what are they going to do? Just land on it and go, point here.
They
Here
got
it
nothing
is.
to do. So this is Dutch science. Oh, that explains everything. Right, so it's like, hey, I've got this great idea. Let's get. Hey, can you think we can get this bee to sniff out coronavirus?
Yeah, they were at a party at the time.
Let's smoke a fatty and have a think about it, shall we? It's nice.
I must admit, Americans tried them to sniff out C4.
Yeah, you can get dogs to sniff out
Yeah.
all sorts, but bees.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, they've had it quite a bit badly lately.
So these totally chilled out scientists in the Netherlands, they've been training bees apparently to identify COVID-19.
Interesting. If they could find, if it does work, then it would be an interesting.
Well, they've done the research. They've concluded on research on over 150 bees.
Is that it? How many bees are in the
well,
world?
I think, well, no, but if you've got 150 bees and you can train 150 bees out of 150 bees to sniff out something.
Yeah, but it's tracing the cunts, isn't it? What, are they going to go round on a
To be
leash?
fair, actually, right, thinking about it, because that's what you do, don't I mean, bees go out looking for pollen, don't they? And
Yeah.
like sniffing out sweet
Yeah,
plants. So
Best of
you
the
know,
best.
when they go flying about, they don't exactly know.
Do about
they go
5 mile.
Yeah, they do a bit of it. So,
yeah.
So, but you know, so
Yeah.
who's talking, B?
Well, yeah,
It's just asks more questions than answers, really, doesn't it?
It does, but so it's come out that they can.
Yeah, bzzz, he's got it. Bzzz.
They can, right?
Lock him up. Bzzz.
Well, and next thing they're going to put right, you don't use your stinger, use this injection.
Vaccine injecting
on
bees.
bees.
Genetically modified bees that
X-Files again.
Sniff out and eradicate COVID-19.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey.
It's mosquitoes, that's what we should be using.
Hey guys, I've just had a radical idea while smoking this big fatty.
See, their fucking brains there, you know, the brains there. And that's all because of the
There
fat
you
one.
go. See, you heard it here first, guys.
You did. Yeah, but then you got to watch them giant frogs that they go around eating them.
Just don't lick it. Unless you want another groovy time.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, I like it. I like the logic
licking
behind.
frogs?
No, I like the logic behind.
It's interesting.
The bees
Why not use them?
that administer vaccine as well as sniff out COVID.
Yeah, instead of destroying all their
That's
environment,
beautiful.
and that, why don't we use them as workers now as well?
Seriously, that's
Yeah.
a beautiful notion. I got stung. Oh fuck! I must have had it.
Yeah. Oh, I've got the cure now.
Well, it's just one of them, innit?
Oh, it's mad.
Anyway, one thing people are doing, which is a bit disgusting, to get high, talking about getting high
Oh yeah.
and having a groovy time.
Groovy.
I wouldn't recommend this. People are eating rotten meat, rotten raw meat to get high in a dangerous trend.
What?
I shouldn't even say it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It's pretty grim. I mean,
Don't
if
be
you're going to
doing
do that, then
Oh,
you're
don't.
going to be sick.
You're gonna be
for
ill.
one. So you know, if they say it's dangerous. It's
Yeah.
gaining traction on social media because, and it's getting known as high meat.
High meat. No. Man.
I'm assuming that it's because the meat's rancid and it's got some sort of
Roadkill or something, and they've left it for a couple more days, and then thought, I'll give that a lick.
Oh,
What the? Oh, nah. That's...
well, apparently, like after you've eaten rancid raw meat, or AKA high meat,
yeah.
once it's consumed, you supposedly get a euphoric high
Yeah, it's your body
feeling,
saying you've
and
got
that
poison in it.
overtakes the person who's eating it. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't.
That's like, you're nearly dying, mate. You better go to the hospital. Start throwing
So
up.
I'm assuming it's something to do with the bacteria
Yeah.
that's growing on the meat. But I mean, ew,
'cause
that's
it's
pretty horrible.
It's massively poison.
So I mean,
that's just a stupid.
it's important
thing
to
do.
note that raw and fermented meat is eaten obviously all around the world and has been eaten for centuries, like cured meats like salami.
Yeah, but that's been like cured. It's been.
Oh yeah,
it's
of
had
course.
its-
Yeah.
the
That's why I'm just
bacteria,
saying.
yeah.
You know, it's not.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
You're gonna go and
totally,
eat
yeah.
a fucking piece of pepperami and start tripping. You know.
Yeah, don't expect it.
Yeah.
Not unless someone
exactly.
put an E on top or LSD or something.
So,
So don't take any from the CIA.
anything else you want to talk about before we move on to some NASA news?
Yeah. I might know a good reason why a lot of events. This is solely for Britain at the minute. Why events are being shut down at the moment. The last couple of weeks, they've decided they're shutting
Well, they're
down.
on a kind of a thingy, aren't they? Like a bit of a watch, see how it goes sort of thing.
Well, yeah, but they've been given the if your event's been given the all clear, but it turns out like an inspector comes around and sees that maybe one or two people have got COVID and close you down. That all the costs will be on the person who started the entertainment, and the insurers will
right.
not pay.
Yeah,
because,
so no one's going to put anything on.
yeah, so people have actually started now to actually back down and go, well, it's not worth it. It's not
Right.
worth the chance, because any minute, you know, I could start it up and then 5 minutes later someone walks in and goes, nah, I've got to close you down. And you've got to pay all them bills, let's say 30 grand or something like that.
Yeah, you're not paying out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not going to get your insurance back. But the insurers are trying to argue with the government at the minute, because I think the I think they're arguing about 280
Well, that should
million.
be down to the insurance. I mean, the insurance companies. I mean,
Yeah, but they're not willing to pay out of their own
well,
money.
you shouldn't be in that game. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like the fact is,
no,
an
insurance is a fraud
No, yeah, but
anyway.
that's the thing. Insurance companies will only back you if it's a
sure thing for them.
a sure thing for them.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's not.
That's not how it should
That's not
work.
how it
Yeah.
should be.
Doesn't
It should
give
be
people
that,
help.
like, you look, it's like you. Well, I understand that, like, you know,
It's
it gets
business
to
at
the
the end of
point
the day.
where it's a business, and
Yeah.
they go, well, you know, I'm not going to insure somebody who's got a week to live.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're doing
But-
a bet like that, then you got to account everyone. You can't.
Well, in a
just count
business
certain.
in a business situation where you've got in
lot
terms
of
of
money
like
involved.
accounting for acts of God, which a lot of insurance companies won't.
Yeah, don't forget,
cover.
a lot of them lost. They lost the one on the COVID. They lost. They said, "Oh well, it's an act of God. It was nothing to do with it."
Well,
but
no,
they
it
lost it
wasn't
in court.
man-made.
Yeah, so they've lost it. Yeah, it's even been patented
Yeah.
years ago.
Well, you could say. I mean,
Oh yeah, it's the proofs in the pudding. The patent office. It was patented years
well,
ago.
yeah, of course. But what we're saying it. I mean, at the end of the day, right? Besides the fact of whether it was patented, right? It must have existed to be in the lab. Yeah. Right. So regardless, that I'm sure that there's loads of other patented or known viruses that are being kept away from us that we don't know about. But if they were to come into the public domain, then they'd have already been known about, and people would be crying conspiracy there because they'd be going, "Oh, it was known about years ago." And it's like, well, yeah, but we might have known about COVID years ago, but we had it under control and under lock and key. And it's escaped from this lab or wherever.
I'd have to argue about the control of it.
It's not new.
No.
Well, there you go.
Because it was a part of the normal flu.
Well, no, you're going to argue that you're going to argue about the control of it because, yeah, obviously it got out.
Well, no,
so,
actually, I was going to argue that generally around about 1,000 labs, 1,000 times a year, something out of a lab comes out. And they've known it for years. They just haven't really controlled it as much as they can do. Which this was bound to happen.
Is that kind of like a real statistic?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Because I mean,
roughly 1,000 a year. There is
that
incidents.
worldwide?
Yeah. It's not solely
well,
just one.
That's a bit of a large number.
Yeah.
And I mean, what do you consider? I mean, I'd consider what like COVID.
Yeah.
It was a fucking planet halting fucking thing. Yeah. Whereas a little bug like a cold or a flu getting out of one of these places is nothing to worry about. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
There's nothing. How often does one of those types of things get out? You know, not very often. Is what I'm saying.
They're very
very
secure.
very rare. And yeah, maybe they do have these sort of breaches where a little germ or something that they might not have, intended gets out, but it's not going to be a pandemic or, worse.
Shouldn't be, no. And it hasn't been because it's been proof over the years that they've been opened and these incidents have happened yearly and, like, nothing major has really happened. It's just this one has happened and there's quite a lot of stuff
obviously
around it.
India's suffering at the moment.
Yeah,
I think
big time.
like these obviously these countries that are still kind of being ravaged by the COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
In certain parts it is getting better, but there's also kind of this worry about a third wave, and especially with variants. And
what happens.
what the problem is these variants do exist, and I mean it's trying to work out which one's gonna might not work with our vaccines. But the problem is as soon as we kind of let everybody go back to normal, which I'm quite happy to, I can't wait. Yeah, but you're opening the box to kind of introducing these variants into the general population, and that's when we might end up kind of getting the call where we're getting, we're being locked down again.
Yeah, it's something we're still trying to deal with, and we don't really know the answer to the question.
Thing is, until it's 100% gone in the world, we're never going to be rid of it, because all it takes is somebody to bring it in from abroad or a new strain of it, and we're back to square one. So let's hope we never don't go that way.
Yeah. And to be honest, they want to destroy it like like they've got smallpox and stuff. There's two major labs, one in Russia, one in America, that's got all the nasty bugs that have been around, so they can actually work out how to treat the next generation.
Well, that's what they're doing here in the UK, aren't they? They've been just given 30 billion in research funds. Where was it? What's the lab called here in the UK?
You know what? It's out of my head at the minute.
I know what it's called.
Is it somewhere?
Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well, it's our biggest lab.
But what the idea there being is they're trying to get ahead of it. So, the more research into vaccines and, having vaccines ready, just on the off chance. Do you know what? I'd say get a vaccine ready for every known fucking virus.
Yeah, but that's a problem, though, because we do that. We hold stockpiles of stuff, but then it goes.
It mutates as well. That's the thing. It's
and if it mutates into a super one, that's when we're buggered.
There's no point. Yeah, but this is they were talking about kind of like there was adverts not long ago. In fact, before the pandemic, saying don't try not to use antibiotics as much because. You'll build up an immunity to them, and we're running out. Right? We're running out of natural antibiotics
because people ain't finishing the courses
as well. Yeah, because they're not finishing the courses. Yeah. But it's a case of that you need stronger ones every time you use them.
Yeah, and we found over the last 20 years we found 2. Yet we used to find 20 every year.
But what I'm getting at with that is, I think obviously your body builds up an immunity, or you change, the virus, it changes itself.
Structure changes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
anyway.
and we've just got to try and be ahead of it. But there are new types to try and combat that at the minute. There's new RNA methods which they've started on the vaccine for this. But it seems to be working effectively enough.
It is, isn't it? It's been working, but that's the danger. It's like trying, obviously, if there's a variant that comes along that isn't responsive, or isn't our vaccine's not responsive to, but obviously when they've got kind of labs working on kind of keeping an eye on it, then that's all you can do at the moment, innit?
Yeah,
so, but the plan here in the UK is still June 22nd, is it?
Yes, it is, before the Prime Minister's birthday.
To get everything back to normal.
So we can go out and boogie that night.
Yeah, that's it. I've got plans.
Strip show.
I've got plans. He's got, what's it? I mean... how did the mayor... Was it the elections?
Oh, yes, it was the votes today, yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah, I don't think the Mayor of London is going to be the Mayor of London. I think he lost.
Well, who won?
Mostly Conservatives. Labour lost a number of seats.
I know the Labour leader was kind of sounded very sorry for himself on the news this morning. He was like saying, I take full responsibility and all this.
If Hartlepool went,
and he does. He's right, and I mean he is right in the sense that they don't go out and tell us how they've changed. They just say they've changed. Yeah. Right. Yeah. They don't talk to the people.
Nope.
Yeah. He's more bothered. He's more bothered about kind of trying to make fucking Boris Johnson look at it. Yeah. Than actually prove to me why he's the best man for the job. Do you know what I mean? And until Labour haven't got anything to say, apart from old fucking... I mean, even when they rebranded themselves as New Labour and all that, at least...
It worked when Tony was there.
But that was exactly because he tried to... That was Labour trying to rebrand themselves as New Labour, right? Who shafted us, and now we're back to old Labour, who are trying to say that they won't shaft us like they did the first time or the second time under a new Labour banner.
Yeah, they're just a Conservative under a different name, that's it, really.
So, well, this is the thing, isn't it? So, it's
same old people, not a new one.
It's the same thing in different fucking coloured ties.
Well, I think others went up a bit this time. I think there were more other I wanted, ones.
What is it, Nico Milan?
I wonder if he won. I doubt it.
But
if he did, congratulations. If not, sorrows, mate.
And the NDL?
Yeah. There's always 5 years' time. He'd be a bit more older, a bit more wiser.
I think he's pretty funny. If you've not checked him out, check him out on YouTube.
He wants to start his campaign today.
He's running for the mayor of London.
Yeah.
But he had some great policies.
Yeah,
he wanted to bring the price of a Freddo back down to 5p. He said any McDonald's with a malfunctioning McFlurry machine should be closed down.
I think they all should be now.
Well done.
Yeah.
He's got some great policies.
He has.
So got some NASA news. Got some space news. SpaceX will be launching a Falcon 9 rocket's 10th flight on Sunday.
Nice.
You can watch it online. It's probably lift off about 2:42 a.m.
See.
So,
Sweet.
So that's like 6:42 p.m. in England in English times.
Yeah. And
in old English times.
They've been successful lately as well.
Taking off from Cape Canaveral. Go on.
Nice.
Why have they been successful? Oh yeah. Oh, they had the good touchdown, didn't they, the other day? Yeah, that was good.
First landing on the 7th.
Without it blowing up. Well done.
Well done, lads.
We might consider getting on it now.
out of 5 of them, 1 lands.
Yeah.
But this is just a small point to the next stage that they've got to get like the stuff on there to actually get it out and then bring it back again.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be extra stuff. But it's a good goal for space.
Yeah, so this one's not a passenger one or anything like that, but they're sending up 60 Starlink satellites.
Yeah.
Another 60, loads more space trash knocking about.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, one of them's coming down, I think, in the next couple of days.
What, for repairs?
No, Chinese space junk's going to hit Earth. It's on its way down.
Really? What is it?
I don't know. I think it's just an old satellite or something. Something big and new, probably.
Do they know where it's going to land?
No.
Can you get insured? Is that you insured for that? If a fucking satellite drops on your house? That's not an act of God, is it?
No, you'd sue the company.
I'm assuming it'd have a number on it.
Yeah, and radiation.
If your house is hit by this satellite, please call Elon Musk on.
Well, you'll be surrounded before you'd even know it'd hit you, I think, because of the radiation.
Oh, he's Chinese, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'll be, hiya. Oh, no.
Well, it depends where it is.
What?
You know what I mean? Depends where it lands. It might land USA and they go, oh, sweet. Oh, we got a bit of data here. Nice. But, yeah, that's still kicking off as well.
We'll stealing Chinese secrets. We'll get the satellite.
Yeah.
And steal it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Why not?
Anyway, so space Falcon 9's new rocket is going up Sunday, tomorrow.
Good.
So, as you're listening to this on Sunday, just think, a couple of hours' time, you could be watching
the satellites
spacey stuff.
Yeah.
Have a space day. It's all good. Sunday, this space day.
Yeah, get your binoculars out.
Anything else you've been seeing? Because obviously they're talking about the next, the next big one is putting civilians up on one of these flights.
Yeah.
Obviously SpaceX Crew Dragon.
Yeah.
It's pretty kind of nifty. Looks well Buck Rogers. But now this kind of new one, it's kind of going to be a all civilian space flight, and that's going up late 2021, so later this year.
Man.
So Inspiration 4, it's going to be called, and it was named to commemorate the 4-person crew at St. Jude's. In support of St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital.
Nice.
And so
excellent,
that's cool. But imagine that going up as a civilian.
Yeah.
Inspiration 4.
That'd be nice. If someone's got me a ticket, I would go on it. Yeah, definitely.
Inspirational. Yeah, I bet it would be.
Yeah.
So, anything going on?
Right. International team of scientists from the USA, France, and China have gotten together and put a statement down that they've seen a couple of photos from the rover Opportunity of fungi-like mushrooms on the planet of Mars.
Yeah, you were telling me about this. Mushrooms on Mars. Is it just because I've seen a couple of things recently where I've seen
this picture. It looks...
People kind of find stuff on Google Earth, don't they? And they go, and they see a shape.
Oh, no, this was from the actual rover Opportunity.
So what? The rover's found mushrooms?
It looks like it, yeah, but
Fuck off.
When I was looking at it, right, you know when you do pressure...
No, actually, no, do you know what? Because if there was any sort of, like life I'd expect to find would be a fungus. Yeah, funguses, exactly. Definitely.
Exactly. They haven't seen them move, but they've seen these little
Well, you don't.
things
when
around.
do you see a mushroom moving?
Well, yeah, exactly.
I mean, you'd have to go on you know what? I bet if they put it
on the camera there for 24 hours.
Yeah, I bet if they time lapsed it, they'd see something moving.
Well, yeah, that's
there you go, NASA. Time lapse that mushroom.
Yeah, but did they want to?
I want to see a moving mushroom by Monday.
They might have already done it and just not shown the video yet.
I want to see that by tomorrow evening. Go. Do you know what? Whilst you're blasting off your rocket, and go. And here's a mushroom.
Now, this is where I could burst a bubble on that because of stuff like when the rover landed. What was it doing? It was pushing pressure to slow itself down. Now, within that pressure, they could have made these circular balls and fly all around the area of where that landed. There is a possibility that it might not be a living thing, but these scientists believe that it possibly could be.
Of course, there's always a possibility. Yeah. Do you know, that it might be something else or nothing or whatever, but, know...
It is one of them that a lot of, like I said, international scientists are saying, NASA, you need to have a little closer look at these because we think these are the real McCoy.
So, you know what, that's fair enough. Another discovery that NASA have made, it's the Parker Solar Probe. It's detected natural radio emissions from Venus.
Oh.
Having some radio, so, they say natural. Do you know what I mean? Is that just like magnetic fields and stuff? But
yeah.
So obviously the NASA Parker Solar Probe is conducting a bit of kind of research on Venus, and basically it's kind of got a bit of signals. Do you know what I mean? It's started getting some signals from the upper atmosphere.
Good.
In its ionosphere. When it flew about 570 miles above the surface back in July 2020, the probe's electrical and magnetic field detectors picked up low-frequency outputs similar to a scientific... what was it? Similar to one scientific noted... One similar to one... Scientists noticed when Galileo swung by Jupiter's moon. Sorry about that. Yeah, so basically saying they had another when Galileo probe went past Jupiter's moon. They had a similar pickup of radio waves. So that means that's the planet giving off these magnetic or radio. So I'd say that Earth probably did as well. But it's probably so bombarded with our own radio waves that we send out that you probably kind of shoots it, or kind of drowns it out.
Agree with that. Yeah.
So I wonder what the kind of transmitting then.
Well,
it's kind of a song, isn't it? It's kind of got its own frequency of it's kind of resonant.
Magma.
Oh no, it's a resonancy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Everything's got its own vibrations.
Yeah.
Right? So if, the Earth as itself would move and have its own sort of vibration, which would create a field, like a radio wave, if you like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or a sound wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, say, if Earth's is being drowned out.
Yeah,
which it is, blatantly.
Totally.
It's interesting to know what the other planets' resonances are saying, or kind of, or the sound of a planet, if you like. What would there be the resonance or the sound wave of a planet sound like?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Quite interesting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I seen something the other day, actually, about a flash.
Let's make some music with planets, playing planets.
Well, within the realms of everything, it possibly could be doing something.
You could do that. Well, yeah. I mean, that could be something cosmic in the cosmic realms that we don't even fucking understand. These planets are doing something that, maybe we've disrupted it by kind of drowning our frequency out, disrupting our frequency.
Well, if we're the only things living in the universe, I'd definitely say, we definitely disrupted it, because nothing else should have been changed.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Anything else you want to add before we move on? I've got one last story.
I've got one last story as well.
Well, hit me. Go? Yeah, go for it.
All right, then. Well, last week I was saying about NASA was doing this training exercise for a week on an asteroid coming and hitting the planet in October.
Right.
Well, they failed.
Okay.
They basically failed at all operations, and it looks like at the moment we still have no defense against any kind of meteorite strike.
Right.
Yeah. But because FEMA, when they did their
their testing. Yeah, I know you were talking about it last week.
The city. They should have actually emptied the city, but they could not do it.
Well, it was mental
New York,
because
it was supposed to be.
Wasn't the whole thing with helicopters, and they were trying to, and they basically bust into a building, and it looked like a whole big military operation, and everyone was like, "What the fuck's going on?"
Exactly, and that might give a reason why these posts as well turned up in New York City that no one knows about. These posts that turned up, and they're like big posts with something on it, but no one knows why they're there. But they're all over the place. Right. Which it could be one of them thought, right, everyone get out. They can, work out who's still in the area or not. But it's failed again. I mean, it's come on, lads. You know what I mean? You can work it out, and it still gives Provident on October.
What about it?
Well, the operation was supposed to end in October. It was a week operation, but they were doing it in case it landed in October. It was supposed to strike in October. And
this year?
Yeah.
Okay. So
that was a part of the briefing on it.
Yeah, well, maybe they've got one set up, and if they do it, they'll just go, "Oh, it was just an operation like the last one," but it's an opportunity for them to get set up.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
should have been more announced,
preparation to the event. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it didn't just deal with NASA either. I mean, this was worldwide to try and see if we could cooperate together and work out a system of stopping it.
Work as a team, guys.
Yeah, and obviously, again, it doesn't work.
Because you know what?
Yeah.
You know what happens? Teamwork makes the dream work.
It does.
Yeah.
It's just a pity the leaders don't realise that shit.
True. I mean, because we're all in it for themselves, and we're all selfish bastards.
That's right.
Anyway, I found this UFO story.
Ooh.
So basically, mysterious fireball spotted in India has left people scratching their heads. Some have even speculated that the UFO could even be a out-of-control Chinese rocket hurtling to Earth.
Possibly. It could be a part of the junk.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
So, because they've been sending stuff up, haven't they?
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
So, obviously, there was video that went viral where a big fireball was hurtling through the sky over the capital, Delhi. The video from India shows the fireball, which is yellowish, that appears lit out of a couple of shots from different cameras angles and stuff like that, and changes kind of from like a yellow to an orangey sort of colour.
All right.
According to the locals, the unidentified a luminous flying object has left them stunned.
It often does.
What do you reckon? Do you think it could have been sort of like this Chinese rocket?
Possibly, yeah.
Or a low Earth orbiting satellite?
What, burning up?
Maybe.
Possibly.
There's enough, like we've said, there's enough shit up there now that it could have been anything.
Yeah, totally. Totally agree with you there.
So,
totally.
Other options it could have been is a drone. Aliens.
Blown up airplane.
Some people say, like I say, Chinese rocket. Some local sources have said
Chinese landing.
Yeah, maybe.
Big one.
So,
Yeah.
any other... there's been quite a lot of UFO sightings, actually, recently.
There has. Could it be the moon? Could it be the moon that the Chinese are trying to build? The big moon that they're supposed to be putting up in the sky. So
could it be the moon and no one's told them about it yet?
It
maybe,
could be, yeah,
you know.
it may be. But
Could
yeah,
be.
you are right. There is a lot of UFO things going off at the
I'm
minute.
tired now.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, that's the end of the show.
Yes,
Luckily.
it is. Yeah.
You can go and have a bit of Bobby's.
Gonna have a brew and a biscuit.
A bit of biscuit and a
Ooh,
coffee.
yeah.
And,
Yeah,
you know, put my
definitely
feet
coffee.
up. But if you have got any comments, queries, or suggestions, you know what to do. You can get in touch with us because we're very approachable.
We are.
We're lovely people.
Come and say hello.
All you got to do is
say
reach
hello.
out and touch Taylor's face.
Yeah, don't touch it. You know, you can talk to me.
What do you think about us getting a P.O. box address, guys? Do you think it's a good idea?
Yeah.
I think it's maybe time we do that. Let us know in the comments. If you've got any questions for us. We're coming up to our 150th episode shortly. And you know what that means? We might be doing a live show.
Yeah, it looks like you'll see these beautiful masks again.
So if you've got any sort of suggestions for that, anything you'd like to see, anything, you know, you think could improve the show,
yeah,
let us know.
suggestions. We're happy to listen.
Don't forget, you can get some merch over at the website or go over to TeePublic.
Yeah.
It's all good stuff.
It is.
Some great design there.
Great stuff.
And you can help us out by going to Patreon. Patreon.com/Never a Straight Answer. Like I say, email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. Go to the website at neverstraightanswer.co.uk. Everything on there from videos, downloadable content, blogs,
It's all there.
all sorts of stuff. It's all good.
It is all good.
We're available on all podcast platforms, so make sure you subscribe from iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as everywhere else. So no matter what app you choose,
We are there.
make sure you subscribe to the Never a Straight Answer podcast on that.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we'll be back next week with another brilliant episode. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know.
Yeah,
you don't know, but I know.
Yeah, I do. I know.
You know.
I'm reading your mind
You
now.
know,
Yeah.
and I know.
Yeah,
but they don't know.
Yeah.
But you'll find out very soon.
You will.
So make sure you subscribe and join us then. We'll be back next time. I've been
will.
Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
We've been the Never Straight Answer We've been the Never Straight Answer podcast.
You got it
Peace.
right.